Hi, I'm Krista. I'm a life and business coach from Switzerland. And after several thousand hours of coaching, I decided to share my most transformational learnings in these videos. These videos I call hacks, and with these hacks, you have access to coaching whenever you want and wherever you need. So welcome to this first hack, Be Visible and Build Your Personal Brand. In this hack, it's all about becoming visible for who you are while pursuing a meaningful goal. If you're a student who's about to choose and start your career, or a young professional or an even more seasoned professional who likes to be more visible in your company, this is for you. Even if you're a coach just like me and you would like to extend your toolbox that you use with your clients, this is exactly for you too. In this hack, I will lead you through 3 simple steps to make yourself known while working on a goal that you want to achieve. The 3 steps are: know what you're capable of, strive for the goals that truly inspire you, and connect with powerful people who help you to make it happen. Sounds simple, right? It actually is. And I've seen it work in practice numerous times with great success. So let's go and explore the 3 steps together. Step 1. Know what you're capable of. Do you know what you're capable of? I'm sure that intuitively you do. And are you good at letting others know as well what you're capable of? This is exactly what you should do as you're building your personal brand. Communication research reminds us to have a short, consistent, and simple message that you repeat 5 to 7 times until other people start to associate with you. Hence, it's a good idea to know what makes you unique and let others know about that. To explore what you're capable of, I invite you to think about 3 questions. Question 1. What are your defining competencies? Write down what comes to your mind, and if you need inspiration on this one, review your CV or your LinkedIn profile. If you struggle, talk to friends, colleagues, or teachers if you're interested in what they believe your core competencies are. To give you an example, mine include coaching, team development, and change management. I feel very confident about these topics. So what about you? What do you feel confident about, and what are your core competencies? So write down the core competencies that make you. I use this template to fill in the competencies and everything else we're going to discuss afterwards. Just click here to get to the page where you can download it. Question 2. When you're clear on your competencies, here's what to think about next. What's unique about how you do what you do? What are your key skills? To give you an example, I'm impact driven. I may not do things perfectly, but I always focused on the biggest impact during an endeavor. Also, I'm people-focused. I think deeply about the psychodynamics of people and what moves them when I design a team development journey. I'm a patternist too, so when I work with people, I always look for repetitive patterns. I believe it's a powerful method to stimulate growth. Now you know mine. What are your key skills? I invite you to come up with 3 and actually stick to 3. Because remember, we need a short, simple, and strong message that we can repeat consistently over time. If you need additional inspiration on this one, I can highly recommend the 16 Personalities test. It's a free and insightful resource that can be helpful with finding your skills. And the same applies to the Strength Finder. Both links are shown below here. Question 3. So now that you have written down what you're good at and how you do what you do, the next question is why you do what you do. What drives your actions? The why are your values. The values describe the significance of different actions or why something is important to you. To uncover your values, you can use this straightforward formula. When you are content, you live by your values. When you are not content, you do not live by your values. Remember moments when you were happy, or even think of peak experiences that deeply fulfilled you. What made you content? And then think about the contrary of experience when you felt sad or even angry. What was the value that was stepped on? And with these experiences, you can start to deduct the values that drive your behavior. To give you an example with my values, one of them is purpose. I deeply care to make this world a better place. I just cannot identify with activities that are meaningless or don't create value for someone else. Other values of mine are courage or simplicity. So these are mine. What are yours? So by now you have completed the 3 questions. What do you do? How you do what you do? And why you do what you do. In other words, you have described your competencies, your skills, and also your values. All of the 3 together, they create your own capability map. Again, I encourage you to use this template to have everything memorized on one simple page. Based on this page, it's easy to craft a message that you can use to introduce yourself in an interview or in a meeting. At this step, I want to manage your expectations. Despite the simplicity of this approach, it can be challenging to come up with the right competencies, skills, and values. I usually take 1 or 2 sessions with my coachees to do that. So you might want to pause here and reflect on these questions until they feel right. So when you're happy with your capability map, let's move on to the next question. Second step, strive for the goals that inspire you. Bill Gates once said, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. This is one of the most powerful quotes of my life because it helps me to dare to dream more and set higher goals for myself. And that gives me direction in an ever-changing world. The easy part about goal setting is making goals smart. So that means specific, measurable, actionable, and so on. What I see more people struggling with is actually setting a meaningful goal for themselves, a goal that makes their heart beat faster. Again, I invite you to answer a few questions. Question 1. The first one is a simple question that may be hard to answer. What do you dream of? Are you excited to get an interesting job when you finish your studies? Or do you dream of founding your own business and turn your passion into your job? If you want to dream further ahead, a powerful question to ask yourself is, when you're 80, sitting on a bench with your granddaughter, and she asks you what you have done in your life and what you're proud of, what do you want to tell her? Today, you may have seemingly infinite options to build and rebuild your life. But when you look back from a perspective when life is over and you have no more options to change it, what do you want to have done in your life? So these types of questions, they usually help us to focus more on long-term fulfillment rather than short-term successes. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Who inspires you? And what exactly is it that inspires you about this person? To illustrate this with an example, I admire Samantha Wills. She's an Australian entrepreneur who had the guts to discontinue a highly successful jewelry business that she built for 14 years because it did not fit her purpose anymore. So what inspires me about Samantha Wills? She had the guts to take a very hard decision. So how does this help me with finding a meaningful objective? I realized that Samantha Wills hooked my interest in a period of time where I felt, let's say, less fulfilled with my company despite it being successful. So, being inspired by Samantha Wills, I set a goal that is truly inspiring myself. I want to create a company that is purposeful and that allows me to have more time with my daughter. Purposeful to me means I want to share my coaching with more people, irrespective of age, financial means, and culture. And then also, I need other income streams to be more independent of the coaching that I do, to have more time with my daughter, hence I found it upskilled. So now that I shared my example, what is yours? What do you dream of? And who inspires you? And what inspires you about that person? So when you crafted at least one goal that inspires you, now the next step is to make it actionable. I invite you to think long-term here. It doesn't need to be 10 years, but even 3 or 4 years will do. Do the following. Break down your goal in 1 or more key results that you want to have achieved today in 3 years. To give you an example, with Upskilled, I want to have supported 10,000 people or more in taking a step further towards their truest selves. Next, I invite you to break down this goal into the key results you want to have achieved today in 1 year. To give you an example, I want to have understood my clients' needs, published 10 hacks, and hired a branding or go-to-market expert in 1 year from now. Lastly, I challenge you to break down this goal in what you want to have achieved today in 6 months. Why? 6 months is very tangible and it gets you moving right away. To stay with my example, today in 6 months, I want to showcase my capabilities to make high-end videos in my network and hence shift their perception of me just offering coaching and consulting the traditional way. You see what the breakdown of these goals does for you? Not only you have a longer-term goal set for yourself, but also it brings you into action right away. Here I invite you to make this exercise most impactful for you. If you want to change the time span to 10 years instead of 3 years, please do. Make it right for you. To close the overall second step of the personal branding, let me make a final remark. I have observed many successful people in my life, and I always ask myself what makes them so successful. And what I've seen is they actually have oftentimes very long-term goals and even very emotionally hooked goals. You could call them visions. And I also align their actions very consequently to reach those visions. So let me ask you, what do you dream of? And how consequently are you dedicating your actions to make that dream come true? Third and last step, connect with powerful people who help you succeed. Now that we talked about what you're capable of and where you want to go, the next and last step is connect with the people that help you succeed. Because most endeavors, you don't do them by yourself, but they need help or attention of other people. In this regard, you might have heard of the term stakeholder management. Many people speak of it, yet I see very few managing their stakeholders really systematically, and this is exactly what you do as you're trying to reach a goal and build your brand. So let's get started. Let's craft your support grid. This consists of the following 3 activities. Think of your goals and write down all the people in or out of your network whose support helps you to reach your goals. And I ask you to be courageous here. Even experts far away from you, people who you believe are not reachable, list them as well. To give you an example, remember my case. In the next 6 months, I want to showcase my capabilities to make high-end videos in my network. That is why I need to think of who the opinion leaders and who the multipliers are in my network. So I decided I'm going to engage 2 journalists and 1 to 2 people with a strong community behind them as opinion leaders. Also, I engage HR leaders in my network as multipliers. The bold-marked initials belong to the people I believe are most influential to help me succeed. So, who's important for you to help you succeed on your goals? Step 2. When you have listed the people you want to engage, you draw a matrix with 2 axes. The x-axis shows how close and accessible these people are to you. And the y-axis shows how influential these people are to support you in realizing your goals. Step 3. When you drew the 2 axes, start mapping the people you listed in the first step across the 4 quadrants. Let me explain that in more detail. Influential means, can a person take a decision or undertake any action that are in favor of your goals? To stay with my example, the journalist, for example, can help me to make my network know about my new video making capability. An example in your case might be a hierarchically high person has decision power to wave your promotion through. So if your goal is to reach the next job level, you should make sure that that person is supportive of your case. On the other hand, accessibility means how easily can you contact a person and how likely will that person do you a favor. Someone like a friend or a work colleague, someone who already sees you, knows you well, is on the bottom right side. Someone on the contrary who you don't know yet, maybe a subject matter expert or someone high up in the hierarchy in your company, is on the left side. Oftentimes, this is the pattern that I see. The influential people are the ones least accessible to you. At the same time, they are often the ones whose support of your idea is powerful. So how do you engage them to help you achieve your goals? And now we come back on the initial graphic on the template. Firstly, think of the 3 most powerful stakeholders who can help you to succeed on your goals. You may want to think of 2 people who can help you to achieve your 6-month goal to get you started. And think of 1 person for your 1-year goal too. Then list the 3 most powerful stakeholders in the upper right corner. Secondly, write down the key results that you want to achieve with these people. To stay with my example, if I could convince the journalist I have in mind to publish a news article on me and upskilled, I could refer to it on my social media and gain more visibility. The other example might be get the attention of the manager to ensure that they are supportive of your case before the next evaluation round starts. And do that for all your stakeholders individually. Next, think carefully about the question, what's in it for them if they help you succeed? In practice, I see it happening way too often that we're so excited about our idea that we forget to tailor the message to that stakeholder. So before you go to that stakeholder, ask a question, what's in it for them? In my case, I could help the journalist reach his younger target audience. To also explore the other example, what's in it for the superior who shall be supportive of your promotion? You might know that he's the sponsor of a firm-wide initiative that you could engage in. These 3 questions should help you to decide how you want to engage your stakeholders more systematically. Of course, you need to define the format of the interaction, like going on a virtual coffee by the end of the month. Or to ask your well-known colleague to introduce you to the desired person very soon. The overarching 3rd step is all about becoming visible to the most powerful people who can support you in achieving your goals. So now it's time to bring the 3 overarching steps together. You know what you're capable of, you have set meaningful goals, and you get the attention of powerful people. And now that you have the attention of the powerful people, it's very important to have your pitch ready. Your pitch is simply the story of the 3 combined columns. And depending on who you talk to, you emphasize different aspects of these columns. So one time it could be very relevant to talk about your capabilities. And then another time it might be more relevant what's in it for the stakeholder. And if you repeat your pitch about who you are and where you want to go consistently over time, that's how you build your personal brand. To illustrate this with a final remark, I want to support as many people around the globe in taking a further step towards their truest selves. And that's why I need to become more visible with my life and business hacks. And to do that, I will get in touch with the journalist and the HR leads to build that visibility. This is what I'm going to do, but of course I'm very interested what inspires you and where you want to go. So let's summarize. Remember step 1, the capability map. Being clear about your skills, competencies, and values helps you be consistent in every team meeting and in every interview. Remember step 2, the conquest journey. Set meaningful goals for yourself and then break them down in 3 years, 1 year, and 6 months. So you have a longer term orientation and at the same time it brings in action immediately. Remember step 3, the support grid. Have a clear tactic about powerful people who can support you in making your dream come true. Have everything on 1 page, short, concise, and crisp, until you have deeply ingrained and memorize where you're moving, because what you see, you manifest. Thank you for tuning in today. I wish you success and fun in everything you do, and please let me know how you're doing by sharing your story with me.